All right, so everything is installed, MongoDB is running, and we're good to go, right? Well, not so fast, because what we need to do is actually check to make sure all the settings are correct, so we don't have problems later on. On a Mac, this is easy. There's just 3 steps in an installation, and Homebrew, the package manager on the Mac, will do it all for you. On Ubuntu Linux, that's really up to us. Now, by default, it will try to set the default settings. However, again, depending on the version of Linux, depending on the version of WSL that you're running, if you're running through WSL, depending on the version of Windows, these can vary, and some of them might be set incorrectly. So let's go through that. So let's first look in our configuration file for MongoDB. So system ctl status MongoDB. Whoops. I need to spell correctly. There we go. And we have a config file which points here. It should be the same for everybody. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go into a different tab, and I'm going to, again, as a super user, use Nano, the in-terminal text editor, and I'm gonna go in here. And there are a couple of things that I need to check. The first thing that I need to check is to make sure that the path is correct here. How do I know that this path is correct? Because for some reason, I don't know why, the team behind MongoDB, depending on the version, has a tendency to change these things. Well, in their official installation directions for Ubuntu Linux, they will tell you what the path should be. So the path should be var lib mongodb and whatnot. And that's what it is for us here, so we will leave it alone. The next thing that I need to check is the port. And the port is where MongoDB essentially connects. And other tools which you will be using in with MongoDB will look for MongoDB at that port. Now, this is, again, not a system admin course, so we can't anticipate every sysadmin problem, but we can anticipate some things. So I need MongoDB to connect to the default port. And how do I know the default port? Well, it tells me here in their installation instructions and says default port is 27017. Well, let's check this. 27016. Now, I've set it on purpose to 27016 to show what happens. And it can set to a port that is not 27017, because let's say during installation, the installation process pings 27017, for some reason can't get it, and then it will say, okay, I'll set it to a different one that's available, and things will still work. As you can see, everything is running for me. Things are running. But let's see what happens if I try to connect to, let's say, MongoDB Compass, which we'll be using. Now, where is it for me here? There it is. And oops, econ refuse something, something, something. Now, again, for somebody that is a sysadmin, this is an easy error. I'm trying to connect to a port where nothing is there. But for somebody that's a beginner, that might be a little bit over the top to figure out. So now, if yours says 27017, don't even touch it. Mine says 27016, so I'm going to change it. And I'm going to make sure it's 27017. Now, I'm going to save my configuration file, exit, come back here. I'm going to restart my MongoDB. So systemctl restart MongoDB service. All right, that should do it. Okay, and I'll go back to status. It is running again. Now let's go back to MongoDB Compass. We'll need to refresh it, and all of a sudden it's all good. I'm in my database, I can use it, I can use MongoDB Compass, I can use it all. Okay, so a couple of things, a couple of takeaways. Settings on Ubuntu are difficult. Something like Homebrew on Mac will automate pretty much everything for you. With Ubuntu Linux, it's really up to us. Now, when changes happen, they are usually in the official installation instructions on MongoDB website. Now, the problem is when changes happen, it's not like they email everybody like, oh, we changed something. Something like the public GPG key. For now, this is the path to it as of version 8.0. They are free, because it's their product, to change the path to it. It could be something, it could change in a week to /static/pgp/server 8.1.asc, for example. Now, we don't get an update to it, but generally they're backwards compatible. However, if something's not working, it's always good to come back and check the official documentation, because that's your best source, their official documentation on MongoDB website. A warning, something like GPT is not very reliable with this, but their official documentation is really, really good. So that is that. That's that. Settings should be good. Making sure that we are running on 27017, we have the correct path, and we're ready to go. In the next one, we'll take a look at what happens if some error is thrown, and how to kind of try to figure out what that error means without completely getting lost in whatever's going on. And we'll see you there.